Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Welcome to Extra Give Friday.
Yes, I have tea here. Whoa, there we go. Tea in my loon mug.
Ooh, very nice.
Can't tell. And well, we just want to start by thanking everybody for your support of not just the Pennsylvania Parks and Forests Foundation, but your support of our state parks and state forests. Particularly this week, we were amazed by the number of people who reacted to our call for action as it relates to the state budget and potential funds for our state parks and our state forests. And you guys came through loud and clear. So thank you so much for that. Your advocacy does matter. Your voice does matter. And the fact that our parks and forests have become havens this year is really important. And thank you for sharing those stories.
Yeah, I'd love to hear from people in the comments if they actually used our new Take Action Center on the website and send a message, and if they thought it was easy to use. I mean, I think it is, but I've been playing with it for a while too. So I would love to know if anybody thought it was, we think it's a good thing. So hopefully other people do too.
Yeah, well, I used it, and I found it to be very easy to use, and I liked the little message that came afterwards. So
good.
I think you ought to test something before you ask somebody else to do it. So I thought, yeah, well, I should do this. And there's more information on our website. If you go to paparksandforests.org and go to the news section and hit, most recent news, you can see our op-ed piece. You can see a piece from one of our board members, Kate Harper. So there's a lot of information that talks about how important our parks and forests are to the Commonwealth, not just for human health, but environmental health and for economy, for job creation. They really are economic engines. So a lot of good information there. Oh, look, Pam is bringing it up. She's so handy. When she does that, I'm going to take a sip of my tea, removing my spoon first so I don't poke out my eye.
Please, we don't need to see that. So here, right, this is under one top story as the category. So we posted Kate's note, the op-ed is there, and our most recent letter to the legislature and the governor asking them to please protect the Keystone and environmental stewardship funds. I always say when I send out these messages, I feel like we're a broken record because we just keep coming back to this and coming back to it. But
Pam, you jumped off too soon because when you scrolled down, I saw something else that I thought would be important to mention.
Okay, wait.
That is our awards program for 2021. We are looking to recognize 50 champions who made it possible for you to enjoy your state parks and state forests and feel safe. So these could be volunteers on our parks and forests. These could be staff. It could be local businesses. It could be somebody in state government. But we want to hear your stories, and we want to know who made a difference for you. And it's a really quick and easy nomination form, and we're hoping to identify 50 people. And the reason we chose 50 is next May. It's the 50th anniversary of the Environmental Rights Amendment, which gives you the right to clean air, pure water, and to the aesthetic and natural value of our public lands. So feel free. You can there's the press release, or there is a page on our website where you can go on and either enter your nomination electronically or print something out and mail it to us. Or email it to us. So we would love to hear who made a difference for you and in keeping you safe and healthy during the pandemic in our state parks and state forests. So I'm going to take a break and take a bite of my pancake and
Yeah, I'm afraid that if I click on this, I don't think that the screen follows that click. But yeah, it's a pretty easy link, and I know we've gotten a couple of nominations in already, so that's great. There's my stop share. Now we're back. Yeah, this has been a very interesting year, as everyone knows. COVID really threw some monkey wrenches into a lot of things that we plan to do, and that awards program is kind of an outgrowth of that. We had to cancel our banquet last year, and the nominees and the awards that would have been given this past April. So when it came time to thinking about what do we do now, thinking that it's entirely possible that by April we'll still not be able to gather in groups of over 100. So yeah. I think this is going to be kind of a neat thing. Hopefully we'll be able to get 50, at least 50, and then Marcy and I are going to hit the road.
Yeah.
And board members and volunteers and come out and recognize people in their places. So.
Yeah, I think it'll be really excited. And when we're out there, we're also going to be talking about the needs of our parks and forests, because if you've seen our report, there is a $1 billion need for maintenance and infrastructure investments. And our park and forest staff do such a great job that you don't always see those, but they're there. And we want to make sure that people understand that they're there and that we need to come together and talk about how we invest in these special places.
Exactly. As if they haven't heard it all before from us.
Yeah. They're like, oh, Marcy, Pam, blah, blah.
But that's why we're here. So we've got a kind of a busy schedule today of things happening. You and I are going to get together again later. I wrote down that we're back at 2:00 for something we're calling Sugar Rush. We're going to talk about s'mores. I don't know if we'll be able to talk about s'mores for a whole hour, but I don't know, Marcy, you could probably talk about s'mores for a whole hour.
I ate a lot of them this year.
And a lot of other things about camping and that kind of thing. Right. This morning at 10:00, we've got Tina Molsky, who's one of our board members and director of the East Coast Operations Center in Bedford for REI. And you're going to talk about how to get started as an outdoors person in Pennsylvania. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And then we'll be back at 4:00 for happy hour with some of our chapter leaders, because speaking of COVID, our chapters have had a pretty difficult time this year. They've had to cancel large money-making events. They've had to cancel small get-togethers. They've had to rearrange their volunteer schedules. So they've had some challenges, and they have lots of stories to tell. So yeah, they'll be around at 4:00 to do that.
I will add, though, with the friends who sell firewood as a service to campers, they have done incredibly well. And when you're purchasing firewood in a state park from one of the friends groups, know that that money is being reinvested in the place where you're staying. So, you know, the Friends of Pine Grove Furnace recently put in a new bridge, and their firewood sale helped to pay for that bridge, as well as some grants. The Fowler's Hollow has a firewood sale now, and that money will be invested in a project. You know, so there are quite a few friends groups that are selling firewood. You have been buying the firewood, and it's a win-win. You get a nice campfire, you get to hang out with your family and friends, and the friends are making revenue to reinvest into the park. And by not transporting firewood, you are actually reducing the potential to transport disease with the firewood or insect pests. So it's actually a win-win-win. And how often do you get to have those?
And everyone, you see how she brought that back to campfires, which comes back to s'mores.
Well, I will be camping for Thanksgiving.
Oh,
so
good.
I'll come up with a Thanksgiving themed s'more. I'm not sure what it'll be, but
a little mashed sweet potato and
yum. Well, sweet potatoes naturally go with marshmallow, right?
That's right. Yeah, I saw a really interesting recipe the other day for the little muffin cups that everybody does recipes for, a little muffin cup with mashed sweet potato, marshmallows. Pop those in the oven.
That sounds good. That sounds
sweet
good.
Potatoes in your hand. Who can argue with that?
I just like a sweet potato roasted or baked and slice it open and eat it straight up. That's my go-to lunch this time of year.
Save that for the sweet time.
Right now, I'm doing some pancakes. I'm having breakfast with everybody.
Well, we're supposed to be talking about off the beaten path. That's the idea this morning. And I was looking at the things that Sarah has posted later on all through the day. She's got videos scheduled for places to go off the beaten path. So if you're on our Facebook page, you can hit the Facebook page at 9, noon, 5, and 8 for various little tips of videos for places to go when you want to get away from what are obviously lots of crowds in the parks and forests this year. So.
Yeah. And even if you go to your favorite park, we go where we know, pull out the map ahead of time and look to see if perhaps there's another trail that you could explore. And I'll give you an example. When we were hosting at Colonel Denning this year, a lot of people were doing Flat Rock Trail, and that's a great trail. It's fun. It's challenging. But the nature trail at Colonel Denning is also a beautiful trail. It follows the stream. There's a couple of places that are really lovely for a quiet contemplation, and it was not nearly as heavily used. So pull out your map, that way you have an alternative in your pocket. If you end up at a park or a forest and the trailhead is busy, go to another location.
Yeah, because every park and every forest has more than one place.
Yes. It just went out of my head, the one in the Michaud. I can't believe that. Pole Steeple is beautiful. We've seen, parking lot crowded, the road is crowded. Blueberry Trail in the Michaud is a nice climb with some beautiful vistas and not nearly as busy. So there are a lot of alternatives. So that's one thing we would encourage you, even if we're not going to say, here's an option for you now. You can easily pull up the maps online, or if you have them in your cache of maps, and look for some alternatives so that you're prepared when you arrive at a trailhead, or you arrive if you're going to go paddling, and remember, if you're paddling this time of year, it's mandatory to wear a PFD. Even if the weather is nice outside, the water is chilly, and you can quickly, if you go into the water, develop hypothermia. Yeah. But anyway, just have an alternative in your pocket. That's the best thing for your health and for your enjoyment, because it's not a lot of fun to be waiting and stacked up with 300 other people on a trailhead.
And before last weekend, Marcy did go for a little bit of an adventure and went to a trail where theoretically there would have been an hour-long wait to get through some of the rocks that you had to scramble over. So that's,
went on an off day, avoided the crowds, kept myself safe, made my enjoyment higher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the wonderful things about COVID is now that we're all working kind of a different schedule, we can go for a hike on a Wednesday instead of saving it all for a Saturday or Sunday. Yeah. And I know we're all busy and we're all crazy, but you really do have to take a little bit of time for yourself too, or we will lose our minds.
Yeah. And not that we're saying that COVID is wonderful, because it's been devastating. We know a lot of people are struggling, and trying to balance work and family and all the other things. So it is hard. It's hard for all of us, and even staff. And I don't know about you, Pam, but for me, being able to get outdoors is the one thing that has kept me sane. And I miss my real time seeing my family and friends like everybody else, because I won't go around groups of people.
Yeah. Yeah, she's even given up going to Rotary meetings. So
yeah. So it's gotta be safe.
Well, as we were thinking, I was thinking about, things to emphasize for off the beaten path. The state forests have something called wild and natural areas. And when you think of something called a wild or natural area, that kind of automatically implies that it's off the beaten path. And just wanted to share the screen in case people are not familiar with the concept. If you go on to the DCNR's website, I could swear it used to be that there was a page where it listed all of the wild and natural areas in one place, but I can't find that anymore. So I think with the revamp, that might have gone away. But if you go into the individual forest, go to state forests, find a forest, and each one of the forests, so I've just chosen Forbes, and it'll list places that they call wild or natural areas. And I know Mount Davis, which is the high point in Pennsylvania, I know that has been crowded this year. So that might give lie to my limited advice here on the fact that wild and natural areas might be a less crowded place to go. But it might be a starting place.
Well, and if you haven't seen it or you don't have it, there's the Pennsylvania State Park and State Forest Passport. And when we put the passport together, we didn't just list all of the 121 state parks and the 20 forest districts. we sat down and we said, how do people explore their parks and forests? And okay, there are people that like to botanize. So we gave you some suggestions of where to go if you like to botanize. Maybe you like water, maybe you like quiet contemplation, maybe you're a hiker, maybe you like history. So we have these different segments in the front of the book that give some suggestions for those. So this is a good resource too, if you're trying to decide, where can I go now to explore a new place. And these have been selling really well this year. We actually had to go back and print another batch of them because they're a great little insight. I think we have a great park system and a wonderful and a great forest system, but sometimes it can be overwhelming when you arrive at a 20,000 acre state forest as to where to start. And this might give you some ideas as to where to start. Right. We also have a lot of water trails in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. The temperature is starting to get a little cold, but when it comes spring again, there are water trails on many of the major water bodies. This one I have is the Susquehanna River Water Trail, and this is the middle section. But on some of these trails, there is primitive camping on state forest islands, which that's a really unique experience, and it allows you to get away from the crowds. And in this one, you're camping on the islands and you're overlooking the Capitol, and you feel like you're in the wilderness, but your backdrop is our Pennsylvania Capitol. Wow. So that's another good resource, is looking up river trails of Pennsylvania, and you can find a lot of good information. And this is the Susquehanna River Trail Association's map, and they have a website as well. And I have other maps here, which is how I happen to be sitting in my home office where I have all my play stuff. I'm going to dig here. What else might we have?
I have a feeling that you and Tina might talk about that later on this morning, because I think she's a pretty big paddler, isn't she?
I believe so. She's a backpacker, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to grab something here off of my shelf.
While she's doing that, I did put up the banner at the bottom. That's the link to our store. If you don't have your passport, you can hop on our website and go to the online store and grab your coffee.
I'm not sure if I can fan all of these out.
Nice.
My collection of purple lizard maps. If you're not familiar with purple lizard maps, and you can get these on our store as well. They have them for various places in the Commonwealth, and it's really good detailed map of the trails, of the areas, of the forests, and the parks that are within them. Points of interest, really easy to use. They are waterproof. They are tear resistant. They are forgiving. You can set your coffee cup on it and you just wipe it off. But this one I just picked up is from the Pine Creek Gorge. We were hosting at Little Pine State Park this year. That one came in handy. I have my Rothrock State Forest. We were camping at Greenwood Furnace, and we got to explore some really cool places in the Rothrock, such as Allen Seeker Natural Area and the Bear Meadows. So Scotia Barrens, Ohio Pile, Laurel Highlands, the Michaud, Bald Eagle, Racetown, Susquehanna, a little Wheelsock, and I know that there are more that will be coming eventually, but we have these on our store. They're great maps, and they will really help you find some places off the beaten path.
Well, when COVID first reared its ugly head, we started our Lunch and Learn series, and I think, wow, that's been a long time. But it wasn't our very first guest was Mike Herman from Purple Lizard, talking about how they put the maps together. So if you scroll back through our archives on the Facebook page or YouTube channel, you can probably find a conversation with Mike. So
yeah,
I'm married to a map maker, so I'm a little biased. Not married to my husband, that way.
I'm a geography major, so I'm a little biased.
So, I don't know if you see the comments, Marcy, but Derek says, "Oh, you're ruining the secret spots."
Oh, so sorry.
Isn't that always the case? Yeah, it's like, oh, don't send them to my favorite spot.
Yes. Well, we try not to do that.
Try not to give away all the secrets, but
yeah, I'm on private chat. I'm not seeing any chats.
Yeah, Sherry mentioned that the Friends Firewood always seems to be sold out, and it's a good thing and a bad thing, right? When you want it, you want it.
I think, Derek, that there's still a lot of secret spots, particularly if you're interested and willing to hike in a little bit more, or you're comfortable with the more wilderness type experience. And there are a lot of opportunities for overnight camping, backpacking, that can really get you off the beaten path. So we're not going to give all of them away because we have our favorites too, and we probably haven't shared those yet.
When you control the forum, you control the information. There you go.
So we're open to any questions. We don't want to just like ramble and keep everybody. This is mornings can be very busy, and we can relate to that. We wanted to give people an opportunity to meet us, to ask any questions. Trying to think if there's any other resources that we might be able to share that would be of help to you.
Have to put the plug in for the extra give, which is why we're here. If you have lots of extra money just lying around and you can't figure out what to do with it, we'd appreciate a couple of those dollars coming our way.
Yeah, the other thing I'm gonna pull is, if you don't have access to Purple Lizard maps, all of our state parks and state forests have maps as well.
Right.
These maps are really important. And, we do recommend if you're heading out into a park or a forest, do pick up a map. Do stop at the information kiosk and learn about any of the rules, learn if there's any advisories or warnings. And if you're hiking alone, please, 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 please tell somebody where you're going and when you're expected to be back, because let's be safe when we're in the outdoors, and filing a plan and letting people know what your intentions are is really an important first step in the process of being safe.
Absolutely. Yeah, we don't want to read about you in any reports or news media at all. So, except perhaps that you completed maybe your, passport challenge, and somebody interviews you because you've been to all 121 state parks and 20 state forests, and you sent in your information to us on the See Them All Challenge. And I'm going to try and bring up that page from our website too while we're here.
And Sherry, so while you're doing that, Sherry has a question. What's the best way or how to start to volunteer or to help? And she said, yes, I did donate today. First, thank you, Sherry. Appreciate the donation. If you're near a park, or you have a park that you like that has a friends group, that would be, we would recommend that you reach out to the friends group, and we'll have Pam bring that up in a minute on our website. We have 46 chapters of the Pennsylvania Parks and Forest Foundation. They're sprinkled out across the Commonwealth. And then there are about 15 friends groups that are independent of PPFF. That means they're not under our nonprofit umbrella, but they're also doing really good work. So reaching out to the friends group is one way that you could do it. We have a page on our website where you can reach out if you want to start a friends group at a particular park or forest, or for a particular project. There's our page. Or if you have other ways that you would like to volunteer, we have volunteers that help with mailings. We have volunteers that provide different expertise. We have a volunteer right now that's helping us do search engine optimization on our website and doing some writing for us. And DCNR also has a conservation volunteer program, which is on their website where you can sign up. So there are a lot of ways. Volunteers are a tremendous asset. And when we talk about volunteerism, I do want to emphasize that we're working with TCNR staff. We're not volunteering to replace them, because the staff is instrumental in making sure that our parks and forests are safe and welcoming to all guests. Right. We're oftentimes working alongside of them. So we may be doing things like planting trees, doing cleanups, hosting events, painting. We recently had a bunch of volunteers at Sam Lewis State Park, where we converted an old concession stand into an education center. So we did a lot of painting and scraping and preparing the building for that. So we'd love to have you as a volunteer. Pam, what was the figure last year, 2019? It was at 65,000 hours of volunteer time?
Something like that. Again, over $1.5 million worth of volunteer labor. So it's just astonishing. It makes us very proud.
Yes. I'm going to see if I can round up Joe for a second. Joe is a retired state forester. Hey, Joey. Joe, can you pop in for a second? Can you tell us your favorite place in your former forest?
Well, if you moved him in, here's the See Them All Challenge, and you'll see if you go everywhere and do everything, we'll send you a banner and tell your story. And we really love reading everybody's story about what their first park was, what their last park was, how they got started, what their favorite places were.
You're not in, you gotta get in the camera. Go down. There's Joe. First of all, he's wearing his Island Hopper shirt for the Susquehanna River Trail. We do volunteer as we're island stewards. So Joe, what was your favorite trail or area in the William Penn State Forest?
In the William Penn, I'd have to be the Rose Trail.
And where's the Rose Trail?
Goat Hill.
Where is it? He's good information, isn't he?
Typical forester, man of few words.
Lower Chester County on the Maryland line.
So what's unique about the Goat Hill?
The plant community and the insect, the flora, the fauna.
What makes it unique? I'm like, really pull it out of him.
See if I can find the webpage.
What makes it unique?
In some cases, there are world rare species that exist down there.
Yeah. The Goat Hill is part of the state line serpentine barrens area. So serpentine soils are very different. They're shallow and alkaline.
Correct. Yep.
So the soils dictate what plants can grow there. So it is a great little thing. And we have very fond memories of helping to build the trail during one of the hurricanes.
Here's a little write-up from our friends of the State Line Serpentine Barrens.
Oh, nice. I took that picture.
Ooh, the snake?
Yep.
It's the rough green snake.
Rough green snake. It's actually considered endangered in Pennsylvania, although it's common across its range. This is at the northern end of its range, so it's considered endangered in Pennsylvania. But it's a gorgeous snake.
Yeah, my husband Bill was out on the bike one day and he came back and he said, I saw a snake. And I looked it up and it was a green snake. And he said, I looked it up and it was a green snake. Gotta love when
rough green snake.
I'll have to ask him, was it a rough green snake or a smooth green snake? So there's a little there's a map of the trail.
Yeah. So the William Penn State Forest District is east of the Susquehanna and south of the Lehigh Valley. So there's roughly how many acres sprinkled throughout that greater Philadelphia area. So
2,000 now.
2,000 acres. So there's a lot of interesting places to explore, little pockets of forest. So even when you're in one of the more highly populated parts of the Commonwealth, there are access to state parks and state forests. Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, go about your business.
Well, thank you. We're gonna make you a star.
Yay.
Oh wait, I lost my coffee. Ah!
Yes, I agree, Sherry. I keep all of my maps in a bin and I go back to them quite often. And the other thing that I like to do, and many of you may do this because as we were campground hosting this summer, we saw others, is if I'm visiting a park or if I'm camping, I like to take the campground map and I walk along and I say, what are my favorite sites for tent camping or my favorite sites if I had the travel trailer for camping. So I think it's that way. When I go online and my favorite site, if it's somebody's already has it booked, I have some backups. So.
Did you really start that? We were going to do a spreadsheet, I remember. And
I did, yeah. I marked them up so I know where. Or if I'm camping and I want to suggest to somebody else, like we were hosting at Fowler's Hollow, and I said, "Oh, these are my favorite sites there," to my friends, so that they would, get a good site. Although I have to say, there's not a bad site at Fowler's Hollow.
did you make a note of the one at RB Winter? I can't remember the number of that one.
I did not enter that one. Yeah, Pam and I had our first camping experience at RB Winter this year.
I had never been there, and I swear that's now up there on the top list of my favorite parks. It's just beautiful, and I'm sure everybody knew that before, and I'm late to the party as usual, but before Marcy arrived at the campground, I was out walking through and, came across this, the road comes this way, and the travel trailer was parked parallel to the road, which is pretty unusual. And I'm walking by and I thought, well, that's interesting. and they had it kind of all set up. And I looked on the other side, and they were right along the stream. So here they had this, very long travel trailer, and they were parked parallel. And behind the trailer along the stream, they had this beautiful sanctuary. So I poked my head around, and they were a little startled, of course. And I said, did you pick this site specifically, or did you just luck out? And they got these huge grins on their face, and they said, we just lucked out.
Nice. Nice.
And they had beautiful border collies and a Penn there too. So that was obviously a pet friendly site.
The thing that I remember about our camping trip is I made the decision. I got there late, and I thought, you know what? I don't feel like we had to get up early because we were doing some graffiti removal in Bald Eagle State Forest. So I decided not to pitch my tent. I just slept in the back of the truck. And long about 1 a.m., I was so thankful because the loudest and longest rumbling thunderstorm that I have ever experienced swept through. And the thunder was just, I can't describe how long it went. It was crazy. So I was happy to be looking out the back window of the camper.
It's like echoing off the mountains and through the trees. And,
Yeah. So Sherry's saying she got an RV this summer, and they did go out to RV winter. Yeah, love the Hemlocks. A lot of people bought RVs this year. I think the sales were up over 100%, and RV rentals were up over 1,000%.
Wow.
So, yeah, good opportunity. And that was one of the neat things as we were hosting this summer. Joe and I hosted almost every weekend. Joe was there during the week. He's retired. I obviously am not. I would go up on the weekends, and we saw a lot of people reconnecting with family and friends around the campfire. Remember one park we were at, people never left. They were outside sitting together and talking for 3.5 days. I mean, they were just catching up. And what a great place to be able to do that. It's one of the safest places we can be is in the outdoors. And if you're practicing some social distancing or wearing a mask, if you're around people that you haven't been spending time, you can be safe and have that human contact because, we're a social creatures by nature. So it's a great place to be able to do that. So I hope that you enjoyed your RV and you got a lot of use out of it, and you were able to park it easily because we witnessed some people having challenges with their parking. Although we watched one woman who had never driven with a travel trailer on the back of her truck. She comes in, she makes this quick U-turn with the travel trailer and zips it back into space in the dark. I mean, and we were like, we gave her a standing ovation. Incredible.
The neighbors of ours bought theirs this year. They went up to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, talk about getting away from it all. And he said every time they came to a place where they had to back in, he just cringed. He said, obviously, we need to practice a lot more before we go out again next year, because it was just a bad scene, I guess.
Practice in the parking lot.
I would like an all-in-one, I think. I think I could handle that, but I don't know.
That's just like backing up a car. I've not driven with a travel trailer, but I used to haul a whole trailer full of canoes.
Yeah.
It's been a decade or so, and I used to be able to get them backed into a garage. So practice. I don't know if it's like riding a bike or hand at the bottom of the steering wheel.
Yeah, the trailer is going to go a different way than I'm pointing the wheels, and that's pretty freaky to me. So I'll just go for the nice, I think 26, 27 foot all-in-one. Yeah.
There's some cute ones. There are some cute ones. Saw a lot of tent pooies out, and like the tent systems. There's a couple other brands that sit on top of your vehicle. Saw quite a few of those this year too, and I can't remember the other brand that we saw. They're pretty cool systems.
Yeah, there was one parked over at the Outflow campground. I live in Somerset County, and Outflow is an Army Corps of Engineers campground. And there was one set up there one day, the tent on top of the van. Like, interesting. Yeah. Oh, Sherry, you were in my neighborhood. I live in Confluence. Stop by next time.
Yeah, Great Allegheny Passage is a wonderful trail. A lot of bike trails. We have a lot of wonderful rail to trails in Pennsylvania. Pam actually used to work for Rails to Trails, and we are fortunate. And was our Ghost Town Trail is the trail of the year this year.
Yeah.
Lovely, lovely. We biked that when it was not complete and cobblestone. That was one of the toughest bike rides ever. Nothing like riding on ballast.
Yeah.
We are fortunate and we get to have so many long distance like the Delaware and Lehigh canal, which connects lots of different trails into one long trail. There you go. Sherry's going to wave. Look for it. Look for her.
You would have come right past my house. We're right on the main drag between the two rivers. So next time, drop me a message. Yeah, Marcy and I, a couple of years ago, we did, where did we start? I guess we started at the bottom of the Pine Creek Gorge.
Mm-hmm. We did. We started at Jersey Shore.
Rode the whole way up, got to the northern end, and then took Route 6 over to Mount Pisgah State Park.
With a stop at Hills Creek first. We camped at Hills Creek.
That's right, we did. We camped at Hills Creek. I was so exhausted by then, I didn't even remember that. But I don't know why I thought that Route 6 was a little easier ride than it turned out to be. And you're climbing and climbing and climbing and climbing and climbing. And it happened to be the day of the Toys for Tots motorcycle ride?
Yeah, to Watkins Glen.
Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of motorcycles passing us as we're, laboring up this hill. And they're all cheering like, yeah, you can do it, you can do it. I mean, there's nothing like being on your bike, riding up a hill and have Santa Claus go biking by on a motorcycle and go, yay!
And we did it. So Pam, what was your lesson from that trip?
My lesson from that trip. Pay attention to where you are. Read the signs, I think. There's two Mount Pisgah parks, apparently. There's a county park and a state park. And I rode up and up and up and up toward the county park instead of the state park. So added how many extra miles to the...
Yeah, I went ahead of Pam and we're waiting and waiting and waiting. And I'm like, where could she be? She had gone to the wrong part. So... I do, when I talk about Mount Pisgah State Park, I always recommend to people, make sure you're at the state park and not the county park, unless you intend to go to the county park or want to explore it. But they're very close together in proximity.
Yes.
But if you're meeting somebody at one and go to the other, it's not going to work.
If you're biking and had been out there for a very, very, very long time. So I don't know how many miles I was up the hill before I thought, and I had been to Mount Pisgah State Park, and I thought, this just doesn't look right. It doesn't look right. And I'm biking and biking and biking. Finally, I gave up, turned around, and went back down the hill. And the park manager, bless his heart, was waiting at the bottom of the hill for me. He said, I had a feeling this is where you were.
Yes. So again, she had a plan. We knew where she was supposed to be and when she was supposed to be.
People were watching for me, so thank heaven.
I have to turn my little heater on. I'm getting chilly here.
Oh my! I finally see the sun. That's good.
Yeah, it's a little slow coming in my window here. Well, anyway, we want to thank you for joining us, Sherry and Derek and others. We're, as Pam said, we will be back later today. If at any point you ever have questions about our parks and forests, feel free to message us from our social media accounts or through our webpage. She has to go telework. Bye, Sherry. We have to do that too. We have to go do our own teleworking. And Pam, I think you froze. So no, there you are.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm looking to. We need to draw a winner of a prize for donors during this hour. So.
Okay. Oh, Susan, you love Mount Pisgah too. Like the 1.5 miles to the tower. It was a hard hike. Yes. Those hard hikes, though, they can be very rewarding. Once you get to the end and you've reached your accomplishment, it can be very, very rewarding.
And if you have Santa Claus up there to cheer you on, it's even better.
I don't know that I've ever seen Santa Claus on a hike.
Hey, I've never seen him on a bike either. So you never know. That's the thing. You never know.
So if you live in the Harrisburg area, tomorrow we are in the Harrisburg Reverse Holiday Parade. And it's kind of a cool concept, and it's a way to keep people safe during COVID, but still have a parade. The floats are going to be stationary, and participants will drive by the floats in their vehicles. And we have a float, and we'll be focusing on showcasing some of the things that you can do in our parks and forests during the winter. And we are stacked between what are the two?
I know we're close to the Blue Moon Car Cruise Club, and I can't remember who's on the other side of ours.
Yeah, but there are, I think, about 50 different stationary floats. I think it's a super cool idea. So if you're in the area, come by. They will have, for the first, I think, 150 cars, they have goodie bags, and we have some information on there. And that's one thing we didn't point out, Pam, on our website, is we have some information, things to visit near. Like if you live in the Philadelphia area, there's, a bunch of ideas of places to go. We think we have them for Harrisburg, Carlisle, Pittsburgh, Allentown, Scranton, Reading. So different places in the Commonwealth. We suggested some places to go and visit. We also have, if you're looking at exploring a new, there we go. There are all the different ones that we have. Explore near. And then if you're looking to try a new sport, like we had somebody talking about cross-country skiing on our Lunch and Learn earlier this week. Mm-hmm. We also have how-to. There's the Skill Builder. Is that the one there, Pam?
Yeah.
Yes, love Hills Creek. We host there in June, so we'll be back there in June. It's a wonderful park, and love going into Wellsboro, great little town. And I will tell you, Highland chocolate. So I'm going to say Highland chocolates. If you're back in the area, and I can't remember the name of the ice cream shop right next to Highland Chocolates on the main street. Also just wonderful. We were joined now by Isabel.
I hear her. Izzy.
See her, Isabel. There she is.
Hi, Izzy. Oh. She's
dancing. Just don't worry, Timmy did not fall down the well. That's the I want a treat dance. All right. Thank you, everybody. It was wonderful seeing you, and thank you for folks who were sharing in the chat box. We really appreciate hearing from you. And Pam, Absolutely. Are you going to pull it, or are you going to pull it and then post it on the Facebook page, since we still have 15 minutes to go during this hour?
I will do that. I will pull it and post it on the Facebook page. So
great with the hand. All right. Congratulations, Donna. Give to RV winner, visit hike at Mount Pisgah, and bike cross country often. Thanks, ladies. Have a good day. Well, good luck on your journey to do all 121 of the parks. And if you do them all, remember you can send something in, and we have a prize for you.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay.
See you in a while. Thanks, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.